Okay. I don't think there's anyone that has never thought of accomplishing more by doing less. I mean, think about it. You come back home, you open your phone, and you start scrolling. You see all those prodigies on your For You page, you see their accomplishments, you see their routines and their systems. And you think to yourself that you could be more organized, you could be more like them. So you get this big wave of motivation, and then you feel like you could work for the next 10 hours without stopping. You remember about your exam next week, and you think to yourself, wow, now I get to be one of them, right? So then you gather your stuff and you start studying. Maybe an hour or two goes by, and you might just find yourself on YouTube or TikTok looking for the next best hack, best next method to memorize more, to study faster, and to get more done. The whole productivity movement promises us exactly this thing, and I'm here to tell you that it's mostly bullshit. I know because I bought into it. I've tried the apps, I've tried the color-coded spreadsheets, I've watched all of those podcasts, I've read the books, all of it. You will never guess what, none of it worked. I still found myself in a place where I got nothing done. And that's really when it clicked. But now I want us to take a step back, and I want you guys to think about something you've been putting off lately. Something maybe major, maybe a big project for school that you're scared of, maybe an article you wanted to write, whatever. And now I want you to understand that you're consuming productivity content not because you're unable to do hard things, not because you're unorganized, but because you're actually afraid. You're afraid that if you actually try hard enough and you still fail, you will get nothing done, and you will just have to live with the conclusion that you're not good enough, you're not made for it. And now that hurts. So these hacks, these protocols, and those frameworks, they're meant to protect you from this moment. Because as long as you're doing something that is not the thing you think you will fail at, you can't really fail. So you've probably heard of dopamine, this crucial chemical in your brain that is basically responsible for the reward mechanism. I know it's a bit more complicated, but what I'm trying to get to is that when you actually get a book done about productivity, or you create a new spreadsheet with tasks, whatever, your brain releases the same chemical as when you actually get something done. So you get rewarded for doing something easy. You get rewarded for doing something easier. So I think it's a bit scary that you get rewarded for hiding. And that is really scary. This trap is really unintentionally, really well designed, isn't it? So let me really paint a picture of what this industry, the productivity industry, is trying to sell you. It's not only YouTube or the books I mentioned, it's also your Instagram feed, the preset morning routines, or those study hacks. TikTok putting constant pressure on you to get more and more and more done. You see this guy reading a book a week. You see this guy waking up at 4 a.m. every single day. And then you see this student giving you 10,000 tips on how to study properly. And you get to know with new advice, new hacks every single day, and you just become overwhelmed. I don't think you can stick to a single thing for long enough for it to even work, don't you? So we're in a place where we're consuming more and really creating less. We're not in a place where we're studying, we're not in a place where we're creating, we're straight up consuming. And that is killing our potential. No one will tell us that, because what content creator would actually tell you to stop consuming their content? So most of these authors, I'm sure they're trying to help us, but all they're doing is creating chaos. And that's natural. But you become overwhelmed, you become panicked, and you just can't live with yourself. So you come back for more, trying to find the next best method for getting more done and trying to get back into this productive flow. So instead of becoming a more productive person, you're becoming a better consumer. And another thing with such content is that it's not really made for us. It's really made for those 40-year-olds in suits that have projects to manage and they have teams to manage, not for teenagers like me or you, trying to pass their exams, trying to have a fairly normal social life, and also realize what they want to do in life. which is already so complicated. Why are we even adding even more to that? So you could probably ask, why would you even listen to me, right? In 2021, I moved to Montenegro, this nice little Balkan country. I had to attend 2 schools. So I went from COVID-19, from sitting in pajamas all day and doing basically nothing, to going from school to school every single day. The workload was just unbearable for me. I couldn't do it as a 13-year-old. It was just overwhelming. So, I was scared. I panicked. I was desperate also. So I think I did something that most of us would do. I started looking for answers. And it didn't really work. After listening to every single guru on the internet about productivity, after reading every single book on that, I still would get nothing done. And I just couldn't do it anymore. So all this content did was create chaos in my life. I really didn't know what to do. So early this year something shifted. I got fed up with all of it. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't plan to work and never work. I couldn't know what productivity is, but never being or even feeling productive. So I found myself in a place where I had to ask myself a different question, not how to get more done, but I had to ask myself what is actually worth doing and why. Now that I realized I want to create value for you guys, and I want to really put something out to this world, I realized that value is something that requires effort. It requires time, it requires discipline, and it requires acceptance that things will be messy and they will be imperfect in the beginning, but also in the process. So now I know that I have to accept really that I just have to go out and put stuff out that is not really the best. So I deleted the apps, I stopped reading those books, I stopped watching those pointless videos. I got myself a nice pen and a nice notebook, and now I write down only the simple steps, the simple tasks I need to get done, and bullet points. No color coding, no systems, no spreadsheets like I used to do. Just plain pen and paper. The thing about pen and paper is that it's really not complicated, okay? It's a dead end. It's a dead end because you can't optimize a piece of paper, right? You can't really charge anything. You don't have a notification popping up, and you have no distraction coming for you in the next click. So it cost me next to nothing, but it was actually the only thing that worked. And another thing about this approach is that it's simple. It's not complicated. And that's the thing I want you to remember. It's not complicated, okay? You have to stick to the basics. You have to take care of your body, your mind, you have to eat well, sleep well, and move well. Because a tired body and a tired brain won't really function as well as you would want it to, right? So let's go back to that person. The person sitting down, scrolling, then feeling this wave of motivation, and then starting to study. The person that studies productivity content thinking that it's actually doing anything. Maybe this person is afraid, maybe this person is still unsure what they actually want, yet the productivity industry found them at their most vulnerable place, and it gave them a place to hide. So I have a name for that, and it's productive procrastination. The truth is that consuming productivity content is not a productive act. It's a way to hide, and I think we've been hiding for too long. So, you could go home and you could really try to search for a new method, for a new way to get things done, or you could just write it down and get it done. So, my message here is that you should stop productivity, stop hiding, and start doing. Thank you.